So a couple of mistakes that I've seen in the past at previous organizations is one, doing things because Microsoft, Facebook, all the FANG companies are doing it. And we're just like, we need to do it too because they're also doing it. Don't do that. When you do that, those things are empty because there's not something that you're trying to achieve through doing those particular things. So what's really important is to gather data, to understand what are the gaps and opportunities at your organization. What are you doing really well at your organization? Because then that will assist you in developing what strategy do we need to focus on as an organization? What custom things do we need to do as an organization to move us forward? Because if you do all the things that all the other companies are doing, it's not really attached to anything. It's not really driving any particular outcomes. So if, for example, you notice that your retention for women is low, so attrition is very high for women, you need to understand why that is. What is the root cause that women are leaving this organization? Don't just go out and create a sponsorship program or go out and create a mentorship program, but you really have to understand what is the root cause of these gaps and opportunities. How can I address them in a custom way that benefits my workforce at my particular organization?
I really like those examples, Crystle. I was smiling, but I was like, amen. I'll add that one of the other big mistakes is that, with the unfortunate circumstances with George Floyd's death and those movements we've seen around the pandemic as far as the coronavirus and institutional racism and kind of awareness around that, organizations have decided, okay, we're going to hire someone. And the mistake they make is to throw that person somewhere kind of lost in the organizational chart, right? The person has no money, no authority, no flexibility, no degrees of freedom to do the work that needs to be done. And oftentimes they hide them somewhere in HR. And I'm of the mindset that you need to have a person who has a direct link to leadership, who's not just executive, but is enterprise level leadership. Who is intended to be there over a duration, whose part of the job description is about culture change. Yes, they'll be working closely with HR and communications and other folks, but they're their own division. That approach, even if it's just one person in your organization, in whatever size, and you say, we need to hire someone, make sure that that person is reporting directly to your CEO or executive director. And they're involved, and then over a period of time, there's a plan of how do that person, as far as leading that division, work with other departments, but also how do they build the budget and the resources to do what they need to do? Because if you put a person in that position with no authority and no money, then you're really sabotaging them. And when I start off with organization, I said, what you need to be looking at is 1% of your profits as a commitment to this work. Now, people will freak out and be like, 1%. But, anytime you build a building, or anytime you've done anything big as far as a project concerned that changes the culture of an organization, it's required money. So now we need to think about how we apply this. But what's not being said, and the mistake we make, is not acknowledging that in truth, we really didn't value it in the way it needed to be valued in the first place. And so now we need to have a conversation about why this is important. But that number one mistake is thinking this is something you just kind of hide in recruitment or hide in supply chain diversity or something like that, and with no connection to leadership at all. That's a big mistake.